Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Back Nine Podcast. I am your host, Kyle Maharowski, and today we are going to be talking about fairway woods and how fairway woods are loved or hated by some golfers. Um, Before we get started, let's get to the hat that I'm wearing. I am wearing a Jones golf bag hat. Jones is a company based out of Portland that offers golf bags, lifestyle bags. They are on a bit of the pricier side, but some of the quality that they produce is second to none when it comes to golf bags. And they have there's a great behind the scenes article, or not article, behind the scenes video of the Jones factory in Oregon that is produced and shown by Eric Anders Lang on YouTube. So go check out that video. It's a pretty interesting video. To get to our form question of the day from golfworks.com from the forum section, it actually relates to the topic we are going to be talking about, and that is this is posted by Tom G 1969 on October 25th, 2019, so just a couple days ago. And he already received, I wanted to say it's roughly 41 comments. No, not 41 comments, but he's received quite a bit of comments on this post. His title is Just Can't Hit My 3-Wood, ... or any 3-wood. Post begins, title says it all. I've gone through numerous 3-woods and just can't hit them consistently. Really trying to figure out if I want to keep banging my head against the wall or just not carry one. I'm not a bad player, 5 handicap, pretty impressive. Driver's swing speed is 102 to 105. Don't have trouble getting the ball in the air and don't struggle with irons or driver. I have a set of MP68s that are no problem. The ... 3-wood is perplexual. I'm currently playing an Epic Flash Sub-Zero, but I have been through so many others. At this point, it's either my setup, a swing issue, or maybe the shafts are just too long. I have a Cobra F6 baffler that plays 41.5. It's kind of short for a wood that I can hit pretty well, but it's a specialty club. With the 3-wood, both off the tee and fairway, I sometimes go thin, sometimes fat, sometimes hit a fade, sometimes a hook. 1 out of 10 swings, I'll stripe it off the fairway, probably less from the tee. Any suggestions would be appreciated. What do you guys think? Shorter shaft, stiffer shaft, softer shaft, technique, or just don't bag a 3-wood? This is a question that I face every now and then. I struggle hitting woods in just throughout rounds. If I hit a great drive on a par 5 and I know I have something like 240, 250 yards, I could get there in 2 if I hit a wood perfectly. So I do bag a wood. I have a Ping G400 5-wood that I bought for $150 from Roger Dunn. It was a used club. But I don't hit it confidently yet. Lately, I've been using, just throughout my rounds, if he's there, my father-in-law has a TS2 5-wood 18 degree compared to my, I want to say 17.5, but we'll get to that Ping G400 later. Just going off based on information that I know is that fairway woods tend to stay in the bag longer for professionals and amateurs than any other club, really. Because if you could find a fairway wood that you hit just on the screws perfectly almost every time, you're not going to let that go. It's just such an important club that even old technology is still great. One of my brother-in-laws, he uses a TaylorMade burner 5-wood that is, I don't even know, maybe 8 to 10 years old. Hits it perfectly. Old technology, but still why if it's not broke, why fix it? I don't know how that phrase goes. But exactly, he hits it perfectly. Why change to anything else? Even though you know, a lot of people think, well, I got to get the new technology. I got to get whatever the most expensive club is. And that's definitely not true. Like we've said on this podcast before, after a certain amount of hits, the clubs actually get hotter. And that brings us to one of our subjects this week. I have a note here that Henrik Stenson has finally got rid of his old Callaway Diablo 3 wood. And, excuse me, like many of us in the golf community know, Henrik Stenson has been using that Callaway 3 wood forever. The guy sometimes throughout rounds won't even hit a driver, will only go 3 wood off the tee, and he hits it amazing. Hits it probably like 280, 290, hits it straight. But he actually switched to the new Epic Flash Sub-Zero 3 wood because the face caved in on his Callaway Diablo. That is how often he was hitting it. That is just insane to me. So, like I said before, just because it's old technology, these clubs tend to stay in the bag all the time. I think there's a new kid on tour, Maverick McNeely. He is using a Nike Vapor VPS wood. Once again, Nike doesn't even make clubs anymore, but he's so confident with that club, he still bags it. Overall, yeah, woods are just, they're not like wedges and irons. Once you find something good that you want to keep, you got to keep it. One tip that I will say that's related to this post by Tom G 1969 is I've heard on the Fully Equipped podcast that Tim Breon said most players need to play a heavier shaft in their woods than their driver. I don't do that. Maybe that is why I'm struggling to hit my 5 wood. My driver shaft is a 72 grams compared to a 65 wood shaft. And while we're talking about it, let's get to my 5 wood G400. Nice little 5 wood head cover. I think it's a little scruffed up right now. But here it is. Ping G400. 5 wood, 17 and a half loft. I don't have it changed in the settings anywhere right now. The face is a little beat up in the shaft. Like I was just saying, I have a Alta Stiff Flex 65 gram CB with a Golf Pride Tour Velvet grip. But yeah, I didn't spend too much money on this club, and I don't hit woods that often, so I don't know if it's worth investing with a new shaft. But that could be one of the reasons why I'm not hitting a wood so well at all, is because I still have a 65 gram shaft in the club. I may look for a 70, 72 maybe go lighter on my driver. But overall, I hit this club great, of course, in the shop at Roger Dunn. Pulled the trigger on it because before I had a TaylorMade M4 5 wood with a regular flex, and that was a disaster. I could not hit that club to save my life. But I did like the way that the TaylorMade club sat. This club sits, I don't feel confident to hit this club off the tee. It just sits so low. But the TaylorMade club, I did feel it was a little wider, bigger face. Maybe the loft was different. I don't remember the loft that I had on it. But yeah, that TaylorMade M4 5 wood was great. I just didn't take the time to buy a new shaft. And it seems like that's where we're getting to with these fairway woods. The discussion. I used to have a Adams 3 wood that I hit pretty good off the tee. It was a stiff flex as well. But I got caught up in the moment. I thought old technology, excuse me, old technology. I don't need this anymore. I need to upgrade. Traded it in. Sure enough, I missed that club. And I bought that club brand new for $48 off eBay. It was crazy. You can find woods all over eBay, used or brand new. Of course, what we always suggest on this Back Nine podcast is go get fitted. Go get fitted. Go get fitted for a fairway wood. Um, for getting back to Tom G's post, if the player does not want to use a wood, there are other options. I personally just like the way that an iron sits behind the ball, and I feel a little more confident with an iron than with a fairway wood going into a par 5 or just off the tee on a long par 4. There's a Callaway utility iron, there's a TaylorMade utility iron, and just recently I was speaking to a player yesterday who works at Roger Dunn in the marketing department and suggested maybe I look into this Titleist utility iron U510. He said it was kind of like a one iron, but put a graphite shaft in it. And I thought, man, that's a great idea. 16 degrees would be a little less loft than this ping, but that might be where I'm at right now. 16 degree, or the 2 iron is an 18 degree, little more loft than the 5 wood. But yeah, graphite shaft on a utility iron, once again, could be an option. But overall, with my game, I chose to go 5 wood off. I chose to replace a 3 wood, with a 5 wood because I feel confident with my driver off the tee box, and I wanted something to hit off the fairway. Now, that being said, there are a lot of people that don't feel confident with the driver and might feel confident with a 3 wood. A 3 wood is a great replacement club for a driver if you're looking for a little more forgiveness, may lose some distance, but a little more forgiveness off the tee. And if you could find a 3 wood or a 5 wood or a 4 wood that you can hit off the tee and hit it perfectly straight, or just find the fairway every time, may not need that driver that much. But overall, getting back to the fairway wood talk, we'll see where I go with this. I'm in a pickle right now whether I buy a new shaft for this or not, or I just get rid of it altogether and just try and maybe save up some money to get a utility iron. One of my playing mates uses a Gapper 3 iron, hits it amazing, but he also hits a 5 wood amazing, and he uses that off the tee every so often. A lot of players that I know use woods off the tee. Maybe that round their driver's not really working that well. So hey, driver's not working well. I know I have the confidence in my wood. Take it out the bag and hit that off the tee. Overall, go get fitted. Always options. There's always options. On eBay, Roger Dunn, Amazon, if you want to get it quick for a round, maybe return it, or at your local club. See if they have demo clubs, and go out there on the range or go out there and play around with them and test them and see what you like. But my biggest suggestion that I need to take to heart: get a stiffer shaft than your driver. Make sure it's heavier. Decide whether you want to get 3, 5, 4, 7 wood. Now, the misconception I've said before, gonna keep pounding it, is that 3 woods go farther than 5 woods. That is not the case. That is false. You can hit a 5 wood or a 4 wood or a 7 wood just as far as a 3 wood. It just depends on the degree of loft and the way that the balls lie. Am I going to hit this 17.5 degree 5 wood farther than a 3 wood off the tee? Maybe not, but maybe off the fairway, if I ever find the fairway. Been a struggle lately. I may hit this just as far or farther than a 3-wood. 3-wood is a little chunkier face, little bigger head. I don't like the way that looks. That is my personal preference. I don't like the way it looks hitting a 3-wood off the fairway. I much like a smaller head, whether that be a 5-wood or a 4-wood, off the fairway. Overall, that's all we have today. Like I said before, I promise you guys we will get to the driver talk. I'm in a little bit of a pickle with my driver too. I love it, but once again, I keep reading reviews on other drivers. Do I want to switch? Do I want to keep what I got? And I can make a case for both, but hopefully by next week we'll have that driver conversation for you guys. And until then, hit them straight. Cheers.